Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast. Well, it just seems like the DCU just keeps giving and giving and giving. When you think you've had enough, they give you more. And it's a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful time to be a DC fan. So we're going to talk about the latest news when it comes to the DCU. And yes, it's exciting. We're also going to talk about Power Rangers. Look, I grew up in the 90s. I was a big Power Rangers fan. I loved them. And, well, there could be another movie on the horizon. We're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars. And, look, Lucasfilm is a disaster. So we're going to talk about that. There's a new SpiderMan animated show. Does anybody care? Anyone? And we're going to discuss the top selling comic of 2024. And possibly more. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. What's going on, everyone? Glad you could all make it. Tell you what, the holiday season is hectic. I had all intentions of having the Watchtower last week. All intentions. And it just didn't happen. So I apologize to all of you. But we're here now for a wonderful regular podcast. And we'll talk about some things here. Let's see. We got Hope for Life. We got Trevon in here. Here I am. Derpy Entertainment. My glorious Pookie Bear. Let's see. We got Xander Wild. What's good, Slav? I'm going to be here for a short time tonight, but I'm going to drop on it for a bit. Good job, Xander. Good deal, Xander. I'm glad that you stopped by. Who else we got? Otito. What if went outside? What if went out sad? Not gonna lie. What if I stopped watching What If after the first season? Because the first season just wasn't it for me. Let me tell you that the potential for What If was there. They just why they focused so much on Peggy Carter. It should have been an anthology series, to be real with all of you. Like they should have just taken it, and each episode should have been like, what if this happened? And it should have been just completely disconnected from anything anywhere else. I think that would have made it a lot better and a lot more exciting and a lot more fun, because then they could have just done whatever and anything and just really thought outside the box. But they didn't do it. I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. What else? Who else do we got in here? We got Critic Chris. Hey, Slav, fellow DC fans, what's going on? Jalen Harris. Hey, everyone. Hey, Slav, what's going on? All right. So I got some DC fans in here, so might as well just start off with the big news that dropped just a few hours ago. That's right. Deadline reporting Jason Momoa to play Lobo in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And, you know, it's not just Deadline reporting this, because Jason Momoa also stating they called. A post over on Instagram states, so Lobo was, I collected comics. Now, this is a quote taken from an interview he had quite a while ago, and I don't do so much anymore, but he was always my favorite, and I always wanted to play Lobo because I'm like, hello, it's it's the perfect role, he said. I mean, listen, if they call and ask me to play him, it's a fuck yeah. I haven't received that call, so I don't want to put any fake news out there. But if they ever call me and ask me to play or ask me audition, I'm there. And today he said they called. So then we have one more confirmation of James Gunn, who states, welcome to the DCU, Jason Momoa, Lobo, Supergirl. So we have confirmation from the man himself, the main man, Lobo, Jason Momoa, as well as the co-head of DC Studios, James Gunn. Jason Momoa is officially Lobo in the DCU. Now, we all pretty much knew this was going to happen. I mean, let's be honest here. We saw that video of Jason Momoa what it was probably about a year ago, if not more or less, something like that. There was that video that he did where he was like, "Guys, I got the greatest news ever. This is so amazing. I can't wait to tell you." Woo! He was all excited, like talking to the security guards at Warner Brothers, like wherever it was he was so excited, all excited about it. And we kind of knew this is probably what it was going to be. I even talked about it. Other people have talked about it. I'm not going to sit here and say that this wasn't expected, but to get the confirmation, to get this news is absolutely fantastic. It really is, because we all know Jason Momoa was made for this role. This is the role that Jason Momoa was made for. Even years ago, when I would sit and talk with my friends about the DCEU, about what was going on, where things would be going, we would always sit there and say, it's really bizarre that Jason Momoa is Aquaman. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's doing a good job in the role, but he really should be Lobo. And that is what has always been said for many years by everybody. So the fact that it's happening, it's absolutely perfect. And obviously, you're going to have the people out there that, oh, this is just fan casting once again. No, this is perfect casting. This is actually looking at the character, looking at the actors out there, looking at an actor who wants to play the role and realizing that, hey, maybe his passion, maybe the fact that he looks like the character, maybe all of that encapsulated with everything else, hey, it's a match made in heaven. Now, we've also talked in the past how it makes sense for him to pop up in Supergirl, specifically this story that this movie is, coming from, the Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah, there's bounty hunters in this. There's a bounty hunter in this story. And yes, it isn't Lobo in the comic, but it's not like they can't take and utilize Lobo in that role or add Lobo to it in another capacity. There's a lot of things that just sound like a lot of fun. Like, it's going to be really cool. They're expanding the universe. They're utilizing a character like Lobo with a big name like Jason Momoa. This is fantastic. There's nothing negative about this right here. This is a great thing to get excited about. And yes, there are people out there who are going to sit there and say that, oh, this means that the Snyderverse is completely dead. No, look, I get it. People want to sit there and find a reason to rag on the Snyder cult. Absolutely. Go and do what you want to do, whatever. But if it were to ever come to fruition, like I said, in animated form, like I really believe it should and could and may happen at some point, Jason Momoa could still lend his voice in animated form for the Snyderverse. So that could still happen. But in actuality, the fact that he's moving over into the DCU now as Lobo is fantastic. And I think this is just the first step. Like, we can see other characters, actors, other actors who played other roles now within the DCEU come over to the DCU now. And that's what's exciting, because there are other roles that some of those other actors and actresses probably could fill in better than what they did over here now. So that's exciting. But I want to know what you think, because this is big news and it's exciting news. The DCU is building, it's flourishing, and that's what's exciting. Because not only that, this is the cast of Supergirl that we know of so far. 100% confirmed cast. We got Millie Alcock as Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. We got Matthias Schoenaerts as Krem of the Yellow Hills. We got Eve Ridley as Ruthie, and Jason Momoa as Lobo. Now, obviously, this movie is going to be filled with other cast members, and it's going to be unknowns and maybe some knowns and character actors here and there. Absolutely, things may have not been told to us and revealed to us yet in that regard. Heck, David Cornsweet may pop up in this movie. We don't know. Rachel Brosnahan may pop up. We don't know what characters may pop up in this movie from Superman even. So there's a lot of things that could happen. We just don't know. But the beautiful thing about this is things are moving along, and they're going to be moving along so much faster now, because the official production date for this movie is January 13th. That's right, guys. We are about 2 weeks away at this point for this movie to start production, January 13th. Guys, if that doesn't show the confidence that there is in the DCU, I don't know what does. Superman is coming out. It's coming. You have Creature Commandos that was a big hit. Now you have Lanterns that's starting, Supergirl starting production in the next few weeks. There is confidence that this DCU is going to succeed. And because of that, they're confident and they're comfortable with starting production on these instead of waiting for Superman to come out, waiting for this stuff to come out to say, all right, let's keep pushing and pushing and pushing. That is a level of confidence. That is a level of being comfortable with who's in charge, who's doing things, these scripts, these actors, everything like that. That is what is important to understand with all of this. And that is what is great about what is happening. So it goes down the line from the top, from James Gunn to Peter Safran to the cast of David Corn Sweat, all the way down to what we just heard today with Jason Momoa as Lobo. All of this stuff coming together with this excitement, with this, just again, I guess the only word that I can say is confidence again. Just this confidence in everything. And that's what's great about the DCU right now. We've never seen this before with this brand, with this franchise, with this IP. We have not seen it. You go back to 2014, 2015, 2016, after Man of Steel, it was in disarray at Warner Brothers, and it sucks. That's what happened, but it is what happened. And it sucks, but it was just in disarray. There was no confidence. It was a mess. Nobody knew what was the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. Nobody else knew what was going on. There was backstabbing going on. It was a mess. What we're seeing right now is a more positive and bright future for DC because there is a steadying hand and confidence within the studio. And that shows so much more than we've ever seen before. And that's why it's exciting. And that's why news like we got today is exciting. Now all we need to do is get Henry Cavill over to the DCU as like Clayface or something. No, I'm just kidding. But again, let me know your thoughts. What you think about all this? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say. It's exciting news about Lobo, Supergirl starting filming in 2 weeks from now, January 13th. It's exciting times, guys. I love it. I hope you guys love it. DCU, there's confidence there. It's a good time. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. I talked quite enough. And I saw the stuff going on here. All right. What do we got here? I missed a lot of stuff. Jalen goes, oh dear God, we're talking about What If. No. We didn't talk a lot about What If. I don't want to talk about What If. Like I said, I watched the first season. That was it. Jalen says, I love Marvel. I really do, but it was so ass. It was. All right. Derpy. Slav, we knew it was coming. It's been rumored. I'm just glad it's finally confirmed. Absolutely. It had to be confirmed. Like they had to confirm it, especially because he's going to show up on set and that stuff's going to leak. So it had to be confirmed. Xander says, hey, Slav, I recently got my hair braided and colored. I got it colored a Joker like purple. Well, that's interesting. That's cool. Critic Chris, Momoa is not confirmed is a lie. What? I don't know what you're saying, Critic Chris. Okay. Okay, you're talking to him. Hope for Life. I can't see Jason's portrayal as the main man. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. You can't see it? Really? You really can't see Jason Momoa as Lobo? You might be the only person, Hope for Life, that can't see it because people have been saying it for more than a decade now. But hey, I get it. It's okay. Mano has time. Hi, Slav. Finally, Jason Momoa is living his dream, but the Snyder fans are calling him a traitor. The fact that people are calling him a traitor is absolutely absurd. It's the same thing that happened, what was it, a week or two ago with the whole David Ayer thing, where David Ayer, threw his support behind James Gunn and everything, and they just kind of turned on him and started giving him death threats. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. Look, it comes to a point when you need to just ignore some of these people, and it's getting out of hand. It really is. Derpy says, put up the picture I sent you in message. Let me see if I can find it. Did you send me a picture in message? Did you send me a picture? Is it this one? Talking about this one right here? Where you said, James Gunn, all of you get out, except you. You stay. Good times. Good times. Had by all. Let's see. Manu's Times says, funny how the only character that made him hit the $1 billion mark is now hated by them. And he's over at the DCU now. Trayvon, Jason Momoa ditched the dying DCU ship for Lobo and the DCU. I mean, he didn't ditch the dying ship. It's already dead. It's not there anymore. Oh, man. Jalen Harris. The news helps DCU after the whole Batman delay and Superman test screening. BS news because people be wanting this for years, plus helps the Supergirl movie get butts in the seats. So, first off, I did a video on the whole Batman thing the other day. That whole thing is absolutely crazy. Like, everything going on with the Batman being delayed, there's stuff going on there. There really is. But we got to let that go. Let things go. People need to just give Matt Reeves his time. And there's stuff going on. And you just got to give him his time. It's not, they're not bringing Pattinson to the DCU. It's not happening. So people need to relax about that. The Brave and the Bold is not getting delayed. James Gunn said it's not delayed. They just don't have a script yet. They're working on the script. I think honestly, when you really sit back and think about it, I think they're really just kind of trying to figure out exactly where they want to go with this story. And I think that might be a movie that they're going to wait and see what happens with Superman before they really give themselves a budget for it. So that's fine. I get that, because the Brave and the Bold is going to be, it's going to have to be either a really big movie or it's going to be a lower budget movie. Like, so you're talking about maybe like $150 million movie or a $300 million movie, depending on what Superman does. So we could see what happens there. So again, I think let's see how Superman does. Let's see if they can get this script right, everything like that. Muschietti even said himself, like in that interview, and again, because it's in a different language, some people didn't get the right context to it, but it seems like he's working on another thing. He might get a chance to do it. He might not get a chance to do it before the Batman or Brave and the Bold. So we'll see. Who knows? Trayvon says Real Shift was out there calling this a desperation casting. I booked Ingrid on X immediately. A desperation casting. Dude, this casting happened like a year and a half ago. Guys. Derpy says, I seriously don't want Pattinson as DCU bat. It's not happening. Don't worry, Derpy. Trayvon says the Snyderverse died at the hands of the success of the Batman. That movie signaled to Warner Brothers that they were no longer beholden to Snyder. 100%. Let's see. Trayvon says, don't take him seriously. You're talking about that guy. Okay. Boy. What else do we got? Johnny Dome. What's going on? Thoughts on Snyder fans think Superman being conflicted, Kryptonian versus human, not comic accurate. I think Superman was always conflicted all the time, like Superman 78. Hearing Jor-El, but about his powers. Otito MCU was a fluke, but that's it. There's a reason DCU has existed for nearly a century and continues to be way more iconic. Yeah. Jalen says, crazy idea. If we get a third Superman movie or Justice League movie, Henry Cavill comes back as Kingdom Come Superman, helping David Superman fight Darkseid or some big bad. I mean, Henry Cavill, I think if they ever do a real crisis event in film, I think there's a possibility we see him there. But honestly, I don't see Henry Cavill ever coming back to DC unless it's back in Superman attire in that kind of role. I don't see him. I just don't see it. All right. Deny. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. Super excited. I really hope they go with the dreads. The Injustice design is my favorite. I really don't know what they're going to go with for Jason. He's had dreads in the past, so I'm sure he wouldn't be against going with dreads for this role. I couldn't see. I don't see why not. Manoa's time, not going to lie, this may be the biggest star in the DCU if you don't count the Daniel Craig rumor. Yeah, I mean, Rachel Brosnahan's a pretty big star herself. But besides that, I would say you're not wrong. Between the two of them, Rachel Brosnahan and Jason Momoa might be the two biggest. And John Cena is pretty big. And technically, John Cena is in the DCU. Yeah. So, all right, moving on. And guys, can keep talking about DC, bringing stuff in. That's fine. But I want to keep moving on here to the next story, which is Paramount. And this is just a rumor, but Paramount reportedly developing Power Rangers movie reboot without Hasbro. And that's coming from That Park Place. In a thrilling development for Power Ranger fans, rumors are swirling that Paramount Pictures is collaborating with IP owner Hasbro to bring a new Power Rangers movie to theaters. This potential partnership, did I say without? With Hasbro. I may have said without. This potential partnership marks a significant resurgence for the beloved franchise, which appeared to be on the brink of dormancy following Hasbro's recent strategic shifts. Not long ago, Power Rangers was poised to expand into an interconnected franchise encompassing both film and television. Hasbro had been actively developing this expansive universe in collaboration with Netflix. However, progress stalled and the much anticipated reboot remained in limbo. Recent reports suggest that the franchise revival is back on track, reigniting excitement among fans. Daniel Richman reported that Paramount is in early stages of developing a new Power Rangers movie, while specific plot details remain under wraps. Insights from industry insider Jinsaku reveal that this project is a complete reboot, entirely separate from the previously planned Netflix endeavor. This fresh start aims to breathe new life into the series, untethered from past iterations. Further complicating the narrative, Jinsaku shared that Hasbro and Paramount have been engaged in negotiations for several months, making significant strides towards a collaborative agreement. Should these discussions culminate successfully, Paramount and Skydance are expected to secure the media rights for Power Rangers, accelerating development of the new film. Now, I'm excited about this. The movie that came out, like, what was it, almost a decade ago now? Was it like 7-8 years ago? I really enjoyed that movie. I hate that it never got a sequel. I hate that it didn't do better than it did, because I thought that movie was a lot of fun. I really did. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a great start and reboot to the franchise. Elizabeth Banks ate up every scene that she was as Rita, and it was just a lot of fun. And honestly, I would have liked to have seen that continue. Was it perfect? No. Was it Shawshank Redemption? No. But it was fun. It gave me that Power Ranger feel for the 21st century. It didn't feel like it was from the 90s. It felt like it was updated, and it felt still Power Rangers to me. Now, I know that's not going to happen. I know it's not going to continue. And then I remember hearing rumblings about 2 years ago, I guess it was, how they were going to do like this really ambitious idea of doing TV shows and movies, almost like a connected universe, like the MCU, almost like what DC is doing right now, where you're going to have TV shows and movies where everything's going to be connected. So you have to watch TV shows and the movies. Everything's going to be interconnected, all that kind of stuff. And that piqued my interest a little bit. Again, like I said, I was a huge Power Rangers fan growing up. And while I get that it's for kids, I still have this desire. Like, I hope that they update it enough where me as an adult, I can still enjoy it to a point. And I still have kids young enough that I could take to see it. So I can still be like, haha, I'm taking a kid to see it, that kind of thing. But regardless, I heard about that and I was interested. I was interested to see, but I can't justify myself sitting and watching TV shows for Power Rangers. I just can't do it. So that, I guess, just kind of like they said, it kind of went on the back burner, went in limbo. And now the fact that they're talking about doing another film, now I'm excited. But what can they do differently than what they did in 2016, 2017, whenever that was? Like, what can they do differently than what they did there? Because that was updated, that was modern, that was very, like I said, updated for the 21st century. It had everything that you would expect from a modern day and for a modern audience. I'm not sure that they can update it any more than that, besides getting someone like uh, Jerry Bruckheimer or Michael Bay or Zack Snyder to direct it. And then you're talking about having either ridiculous sex scenes with Zack Snyder and crazy action scenes, or crazy explosions with Michael Bay, or weird helicopter shots with Jerry Bruckheimer. I mean, like what do you do at this point with with the Power Rangers? So to me, it's kind of like, all right, I'm interested, I'm excited, like let's see what they can do here, but I'm not sure how they can do it any differently than what they did in 20, what was it, 16, 17. Somebody can tell me in the comments, like what they did with that one. Like, how can they make it different and more exciting or better than that? The only other option that I could see is that they go and say, look, we're going to kind of hit on the nostalgia and make it like the 90s and stay true to that, but make it a little more updated. But then will it hit the audience? Because then you're hitting for nostalgia and not going for a new audience. And there's a problem there. I don't know. I think this is a really difficult scenario for them, because I don't think Power Rangers are really big now with little kids. At least none of my kids have watched it or really have ever watched any of the Power Rangers shows that have been out. So it's really interesting to see why they're trying to go for this. Everybody wants a franchise. Everybody wants to be able to have a franchise that they can continue to sequelize and build a universe off of. Power Rangers, I thought in the last movie, I thought was ripe for it. They did well with it, but they never continued it. Is rebooting it the best idea? Look, I'm excited. I want to see it succeed. I just don't know what they can do differently. I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think they can do. Can they do something different? Will they do something different? I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right, G.I. Joes. What are you guys talking about G.I. Joes here? Jeez. Go Power Rangers. Interpia Entertainment. Go Power Rangers. Jalen. Oh, interesting. Critic Chris. Hope Power Rangers isn't like the 2017. So it's 2017. I like that film. I don't know why some people didn't. ManOS, didn't Hasbro say something about not wanting to contribute in making movies because Transformers flopped? What happened? So what Hasbro doesn't want to do is they don't want to put money into it anymore. And Paramount and Skydance, I'm guessing, would probably foot the bill completely for this, is my guess. That's probably what would happen. Johnny Dome, G.I. Joe, Transformers crossover would be cool. I think that got canceled. They were planning on doing that, but I think that got canceled. 2017 was a good film, says Derpy Entertainment. Indeed it was. Critic Chris, I'd like to see Power Rangers reboot made of movie shows inspired by the comics. Maybe that's what Netflix was going to do. Like the Netflix movie crossover thing that they were going to do. I don't know. I really don't know what they were going to do. Derpy says, if they do this, it has to be Lord Dracon inspired. Weren't they doing those shorts with Jason David Frank, David Jason, whatever his name is? I'm sorry. Rest in peace, by the way. Jason David Frank. Yeah. Weren't they doing it with him like on YouTube or something like that? And those were pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I doubt that's going to happen. Johnny Dome. Jeff Snyder said bad screenings as bait, and the Snyder fans took it hook, line, sinker. Yeah, I did a whole video on that yesterday, which people did not like my video. Some people had some things to say about that. Hope for Life. Just imagine if they did a R-rated or A-rated, I'm guessing you're saying R-rated Power Rangers movie with the Rangers as villains instead of Rita and her crew because they got to be the heroes. That'd be weird. That would be really weird. Critic Chris, I remember people saying G.I. Joe had a realistic tone, but the plot was you'd expect from a cartoon. I hated those G.I. Joe movies. I didn't like those movies. I don't know why. I think it was just I didn't understand like the actors they had in it just didn't work for me. I didn't. And then what was it? The second one, they added The Rock, and it was just The Rock was in it. I was like, why is The Rock in it? Like, it didn't feel like anything but The Rock. Like, it was just ridiculous. Jalen says his favorite Power Ranger shows was SPD. Mine was Mighty Morphin. I was around for Mighty Morphin. Trayvon says, I hate that Mouchier has been vilified because of The Flash. Regardless of your opinion about the movie, he shouldn't be blamed for how it turned out. It's like Martin Campbell with the GL movie. Yeah. Hope for Life. Maybe it's not the original Power Rangers that we're getting, but possibly Power Rangers Zeo or Wild Force or Dino Thunder. Even it doesn't have to be the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It needs to be the Mighty Morphin. I don't care. Critic Chris says, sorry, but 2017 Power Rangers look like Bay's Transformers. It kind of did look like Bay's Transformers, but at least it wasn't Michael Bay directing it. We'll go with that. We'll say that. Cozy Lion franchises is the American dream now, isn't it? Isn't that the case? Oh, Tito, I'm not sure about Keen as the main villain. I mean, he's got the despicable part of villains going for him, but who seems a little too obscure, the main villain to carry the whole movie. Oh, you're talking about Supergirl. Gotcha. I was confused for a second. Gotcha. I'm there. I got on the same wavelength. I think it'll be fine. Man OS, imagine a mature Power Rangers movie. Most fans of those shows and movie have grown up and not many young fans talk about it. Yeah. Jalen Harris, breaking news. Superman test screenings are reportedly Guardians of the Galaxy news right now. All right. Johnny Dome, Power Ranger Transformer crossover may be counterintuitive because both big robots, but cool. That would be cool. And it was Tom, I didn't see your video, but I'm confused with the fact that people think all test screenings are for the press when it isn't the case. Yeah, so the thing with the test screening for Superman, James Gunn has come out and said that he does test screenings for his movies all the time. And I actually forgot about this interview he did. He was on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, it was about a year or so ago, and somebody else shared it. I actually shared it on my X account this morning because somebody found it, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that interview. It was a great interview. And he talks about how it's close people he does these with, people that he's close with, friends, family, that other actors and stuff like that. He'll do these with, and he'll take their opinions, people that he trusts and rely on, and he'll take their opinions on what he's doing. It's hard to imagine that these people that he trusts would go to people like Jeff Snyder. Let's be real here. All right. So that's number one. That is really bizarre. And then, this whole report that happened, this quote unquote report, it was Jeff Snyder talking and saying what he said, that he heard that it wasn't going, that the test screenings did not go well. That's one. Number two, then you had Roca say, yeah, I heard from a person that it was like the first Captain America and the Mummy combined. So you have Jeff Snyder being told this, and somehow Roca being told this. Like, where are they getting this information? It's really bizarre, is what it is. Nothing really made sense out of this whole thing. It really did all sound made up. That's number one. Number two, it seems like Jeff Snyder does have a vendetta against James Gunn for the past couple months, years, whatever it's been, especially because he wasn't invited to the whole thing that happened a couple weeks ago, and just the way he's been talking about the DCU recently. So this whole thing smelled really bad from the very, very get-go. So, I mean, this whole test screening thing, let's not also forget that they're still early with the VFX, apparently. I mean, there's 7 months to go, and I mean, come on, editing. They did some pickups. Look, I mean, and honestly, they haven't test screened it for audience members. Like, it wasn't like regular audience. It was, if they did do test screenings. James Gunn confirmed that a couple weeks ago. But if they've done any more, it's not for regular audience people. It's for people that are close to James Gunn, and maybe even some studio heads. But I doubt studio heads even want to see it right now. Maybe some pickup shots, maybe some dailies that they've seen, maybe some clips to see how things are going. But I doubt they have sat down and watched the whole movie at this point. Any, WB execs, I doubt it. But you never know. Critic Chris says, agree regarding your opinion of G.I. Joe movies. Kevin Davis, audience just want everything to be white only. People love the excuse of writing or pushing the wokeness. I don't know where that came from. Mano, it's time. This early for test screenings and hearing bad things is fine. The movie comes out in 7 months, so Gunn has time to edit things if needed. The VFX isn't even finished. There you go. Critic, I've been seeing people wanting cast of Cobra Kai's Power Rangers. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get it, but like, why? Why don't they let them go do other things? Johnny Dome says, how many people did Jeff ask about the screenings? Did he ask literally every person that watched, or just the people that didn't smile or laugh? Again, not everybody likes what they see. And honestly, if you really sit back and think about it, honestly think about it. What are the chances that these people that James Gunn handpicks as his friends, as his, people that he believes are loyal to him in some form or fashion, that he trusts to give him honest opinions of his movies, are going to go out of their way and talk to Jeff Snyder of all people? Think about that for a minute. And risk losing their chance to hang out with Gunn and keep doing that with him, because James Gunn knows the people he invited to see the movie. So it's not going to be hard for him to find out, okay, out of my 5-10 friends that I invited to watch this movie, okay, I know it's not my brother. I know it's not my sister. I know it's not my cousin. I know it's not this person. Oh, it's this person who talked to Jeff Snyder. Well, screw you. You're never allowed on Warner Brothers lot again. You're never allowed. Come on now. Think about it. People, Jeff Snyder just makes up crap, as a lot of scoopers do. A lot of scoopers will make up stories, and they do that because every once in a while they have a legitimate scoop. I give them that. They will have a legitimate scoop, but that's once in every 30 to 50 scoops that they have is a legitimate one. But that one in every 30 to 50 isn't going to make them have a paycheck every day for their subscribers, because people aren't going to want to subscribe for one story every 3 or 4 months. So they need to make things up to keep people subscribed, to keep reading, to keep coming back. And that's all it is. He needs to come up with stuff for people to keep coming and watching his YouTube show and going to his little InSnyder thing or whatever it's called. That's all it is. Every scooper does it. That's why I tell people, don't trust them. Don't trust them. Mano's Time says, love the fact that people want to work with Gunn. Did you see that David Leitch, the guy behind Bullet Train, wanted to make a Lobo? Yeah, I did see that. Did I pull it up? I don't think I pulled it up. I was going to pull it up. I forgot to. Yeah, he posted, I think underneath Jason Momoa's Instagram, said, hey, we should make a Lobo film together. I think that would be really cool. I would think that'd be really cool. All right. Next story is a little Star Wars-y, but this coming from that Park Place again. Disney Lucasfilm spent over $500 million on Andor budget. Where is this money going? Look, I don't make any. I'm not a big fan of Andor. Let's just put it that way. Okay. I'm not a big fan of Andor. Where's this money going? So let's kind of get into this. Disney reported budget for the first 2 seasons of Andor ballooned to over $500 million amid diminishing returns. What is going on with Lucasfilm? Come on. In an era where streaming platforms are vying for viewer attention with ever-expanding libraries, Disney's Star Wars series Andor stands out, not for its storytelling, but for its astronomical budget, with costs soaring to a staggering $645 million. Andor exemplifies what many critics are calling ridiculous bloat for a streaming show whose viewership metrics don't justify such expenditures. Disney has disclosed that Andor's second season alone cost a record-breaking $290.9 million, marking the highest ever annual spending on a Star Wars production. To put this into perspective, this figure eclipses the $280.7 million spent on Star Wars The Last Jedi over an almost 11-month period, and significantly surpasses the $243.8 million allocated to The Force Awakens during its production cycle. The second season's budget is expected to climb even higher, Filming, which commenced in November 2022, faced interruptions due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, prolonging the shoot and inflating costs further. Principal photography wrapped in February, but post-production, a year-long process laden with expensive visual effects, continues to drain resources. Andor boasts less than impressive viewership numbers, with its finale amassing 674 million minutes watched on Disney+. These figures pale in comparison when scrutinized against its budget. This is absurd. This is a problem with, I'm going to talk about obviously Star Wars and Lucasfilm and how it's being mismanaged and everything like that. But this is a problem with streaming. And I want to put into perspective here, take a look at what Warner Brothers has done with Max. Because you take a look at something like Batgirl, and Batgirl was going to be a massive loser for them. They spent over $100 million on that, and David Zaslav looked at it, and after they finally got into the books of Warner Brothers and saw how much damage was done by AT&T, he realized, look, we need to cut our losses where we can cut our losses. And a film like Batgirl was cut. It was just thrown away and said, look, we're going to eat our losses, take a hit, but we're going to get some money back on the tax side. Things like that, making moves like that by Warner Brothers and David Zaslav made sense because of things like this. You can't spend money and spend money and spend money on a streaming service when streaming services aren't making you money. Yes, they're making you money, but they're not making you money like a box office would. The box office is where you really make your money. Streaming services aren't. And all of these studios are recognizing that. You see streaming services are pulling things off. You see streaming services are upping their prices. You see streaming services are cutting the content they're putting on there. Heck, you see some of them have been trying to bundle up and find ways to get more subscribers. There are things that they're trying to do because the streaming services just aren't what everybody thought they were going to be in 2020. So that is like the big thing that's going on right now. So you see that, you see what's going on there with streaming services, but then you have Kathy Kennedy and Lucasfilm and Star Wars go and do something dumb like this. Again, I said I'm not a big fan of Andor. It was an okay show. But is it worth spending almost $300 million on this show? Not at all. Not at all. It's not. That show should not be, it should not have a budget that high for one season. And for 2 seasons? No way. Not even a little bit. Come on now. Like that is absolutely absurd. You're talking about that money. Oh, you could get, if you really want to piss off the Acolyte crowd, this is the way to do it. Because now what you're doing is you're saying, look, the Acolyte, we can't afford the Acolyte because that's what they said. We can't afford the Acolyte, but we can afford to spend more than $500 million on Andor. So the Acolyte crowd's going to come after Lucasfilm, Kathy Kennedy because of this news, which is fine. Go for it. Be mad about it. Yeah, that doesn't mean the Acolyte didn't suck because it did suck. But when you spend this kind of money on a subpar show, in my opinion, subpar. I know some people liked it. I get it. But when you spend money on a show, on a failing streaming service, on failing streaming is not as massively successful as people think it is. It's not. You're taking away time, energy, money from where you can be making money, such as in the theater. Now, don't get me wrong, Star Wars hasn't been doing anything in the theater because they don't know what the hell they're doing, because Lucasfilm is completely lost track of understanding of what Star Wars fans want. I get that. We all get that. Hell, I think we got like 47 Daisy Ridley movies planned when, yeah, we all want Daisy Ridley Star Wars movies, don't we? But again, $500 million for Andor, for 2 seasons of Andor. It's going to be 16 episodes total, I think. Is that what it's going to be? And $500 million. That is outrageous. Completely outrageous. And if Kathy Kennedy doesn't lose her job for this kind of crap, it is absurd. Like, I'm sorry, but there has to come a time when Bob Iger finally puts his foot down and says, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You're spending and wasting our money. We invested $4 billion in Star Wars. And what have you given us? What have you shown for it? A bunch of pissed off fans and wasting our money. You haven't built this franchise up. You haven't done anything good with this franchise. Sure, you made us some money with the first 3 movies that you put out, four movies you put out because, well, nostalgia. Honestly, let's put it where it's at. The first Force Awakens made more than $1 billion, almost $2 billion because of nostalgia. We know that. It was an okay movie. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. The Last Jedi didn't make as much money as it made because of nostalgia. No, it was because, it's the next one. But it made less than the first one. The third one, because they said it was the final movie in the saga, is why it made as much money as it did. So let's be real here. Those movies made as much money as it did because of what they said and how they marketed it. Then you look at Rogue One, it made a lot of money, absolutely. But because of what the story was about, and they marketed it well. It's the story of before the first Death Star, on how they got the plans to the first Death Star. That's intriguing, that's exciting, but that also plays on the nostalgia. So you talk about those first 4 movies, or Solo, I'm not going to put Solo in there because it didn't make money, but you look at those 4 movies that made money there. You can sit there and say it's not because of the creative minds behind it. No, it's not because of Daisy Ridley, not even a little bit. So what has Kathy Kennedy done? What has Lucasfilm done with this IP? Hey, The Mandalorian's been good. Absolutely. 2 seasons good. 3rd season was all right. Book of Boba Fett, terrible. Obi-Wan, horrendous. Again, what have they done? Nothing. Oh, they spent $500 million, more than $500 million on Andor for a streaming service? Get the hell out of here. And that's the problem. There's no reason Kathy Kennedy should be in charge. None. They need to clean house. That's the only saving grace for Lucasfilm at this point, is for them to clean house and start fresh and new. That's the only thing that's going to save them at this point. Because every single time news comes out about Lucasfilm, it's for crap like this. It's for crap like this that proves that Kathy Kennedy isn't doing a good job, that there's some stupid crap going on there. And it's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what you have to say and what you think about all this. All right. What do you guys have to say over here? Jalen says, I mean, Disney has the money, just being honest, but my God, they could use this money on any other project like Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, hell, freaking Mando, but no, using it on Andor, which is a good show. Again, I don't like Andor. I know that people like Andor, but again, it's not if Andor deserves it. It's that a streaming show should not be getting this kind of money. A streaming show should not. That's what's crazy, because it doesn't make you money. Andor is not going to make you back $500 million. There's no way Andor is going to make almost $700 billion back. Or million, I said billion. $700 million back. There's just no way. There's nothing. It's not going to bring in enough subscribers to make $700 million back. There's just no way. Kevin Davis, no matter what Lucasfilm puts out right now, people still going to be negative. Most of these clickbait articles come from because they want Kathleen Kennedy gone from Star Wars. Okay, again, yes, you're not wrong, but like logically think about this, man. Like, this is ridiculous, and Kathy Kennedy should be gone from Lucasfilm. Like, I'm sorry, we may disagree on this, but she hasn't done anything, in my opinion, for Star Wars worth a damn at this point. Johnny Doe, Maren Fisher shares a Josh the Den of Nerds. He doesn't like Gunn, of course. He would bash him. Okay. Otito says, you're really a different kind of guy, man. Not being a fan of one of the best and only Star Wars stories we've had in recent years in the form of Andor. I have admitted, look, when it comes to Star Wars, I love me some lightsabers. I do. And don't get me wrong. I understand, like, I get why people like Andor. I get it. It was just boring to me. Like, I legitimately was bored out of my mind. I watch it. I'm going to watch season 2. I'm going to, because I'm a fan of Star Wars. I've always been a fan of Star Wars, and I'm always going to give it the benefit of the doubt and hope that I'm going to be excited and entertained. I am. I watched The Acolyte, for God's sake. Like, I don't know why, but I did. So I always am going to give it a shot and try to watch it. But I'm the kind of guy that when it comes, I'm a Star Wars fan that wants to see lightsabers. I just am. And I want to see fights. I want to see lightsabers. I want to see, if Andor would have been what we thought it was going to be, this espionage, like Jason Bourne-esque type of thriller, I would have been all about it, but it wasn't that. And that's kind of disappointing. Critic Chris says, yeah, haters complain about Batgirl and it looked bad, like something haters need to hate on in the first place. Keaton can't save that when he couldn't save the Flash movie. Mano's time, even as a person who liked Andor, why spend this much on a season 2? If it was Ahsoka or Acolyte, even though I didn't like it, I understand. But Andor, honestly, I wouldn't understand it for Ahsoka or the Acolyte. Neither one of those deserve that kind of money. No, not a single streaming show deserves a budget of almost $300 million. Not a single one. Not a single streaming show deserves that much money. If you can't make a TV show for less than, I would give them $20 million an episode at most. And you should really be able to make an episode of TV for less than $20 million an episode. You should. So you're talking about 8 episodes. So what are you looking at? 150, 160 million dollars for the season? Like 160 million? Like, come on. Like that's what it should be. It's that simple. Kevin Davis says Kathleen Kennedy ain't going nowhere as the president of Lucasfilms, and that's a shame. It really is, because she hasn't done a damn thing that's worth a damn. Hope for Life says, I hope Lucasfilm brings back George Lucas to fix Star Wars. That's never going to happen. Trayvon says, I have the Disney Plus Hulu Max bundle myself. I'm enjoying that bundle, especially seeing that all 20 seasons of OG Law and Order on Hulu. There you go, man. You got the next 20 years of your life figured out there. Kevin Davis, Kevin Feige and Pete Docter had hit or miss in their film division. They still kept their job. The difference is, and honestly, Kevin Feige has earned the right to keep his job right now and to try and right the ship. In my opinion, Kathy Kennedy, as Lucasfilm head, has not earned the right to keep her job. That's the difference. Kathy Kennedy has an amazing track record prior to being the president of Lucasfilm. She earned the right to get the job, but she has not done anything in the job to keep her job. And there's a difference there. All right. Johnny Dome says, all we got now is Star Trek because Battlestar, Babylon 5, Star Wars are all downhill. Man, it's time. What do you think if a popular, successful sci-fi show like Stranger Things had that much money? Dude, if Stranger Things had that much money, I don't think they don't deserve it. No streaming show deserves, or I won't say deserves, needs that much money. You don't need that much money. I don't even think movies need that much money. Like, they don't. Like, honestly, if you can't make a movie for $250 to $300 million, then what are you doing? Like, $300 million is a lot of money. A lot of money for a movie. A lot of money. $250 million is a lot of money, but I get it. These higher special effects and stuff like that. Like Superman, I can see Superman costing $250 to $300. I can see it. But come on. Like, movies shouldn't even be costing more than $300 million. It's crazy. It's crazy. I need a drink, man. All right. I think is it the final story of the day? No, I got 2 more stories. Got to hurry this up. All right. This one here. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not watching this trailer again. But the first full-length trailer for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has come out. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see it? I It looks like crap. It looks like utter garbage. Utter garbage. Now, I see a lot of people freaking out about them changing the race of Norman and Harry Osborne. They're all upset. Oh, they changed, they race changed. Even Bo DeMeo, the guy who was behind X-Men 97, the first two seasons of that, who was fired recently from Marvel for posting images on Instagram or so. I don't know what he did. Whatever. I made videos about it, but I don't really care. He even posted on X. He was like, "Come on, Marvel, stop making the black people bad guys." Like he was like upset about it. He's like, "You're making it look kind of fishy here." Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I don't care that Norman or Harry is black in the show. I don't care because it doesn't. Their characters don't matter. Like the race of those characters don't matter at all. One iota. But something that is ridiculous. Why is Harry a lesbian? Like, why is he a lesbian? Like, he's dressed as a lesbian. He looks like a lesbian. Like, what are they thinking? Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can get mad at me if you want, Chad. You can get mad at, like, I get it. Like, you can be mad at me. But I honestly look at this, and when I watched the trailer, I legitimately 100% thought this was a woman. When Spider-Man swung in and saved Harry from the street and went into the alley, I was like, oh, that's nice. He saved a teacher, one of his teachers. I thought it was like a teacher of his, like maybe his science teacher or something like that. Like that's who I thought it was, like a science teacher of his. I was like, oh, it must be his science teacher, something like that. And even when he spoke, I still didn't realize it was him speaking. I was like, okay. And I just thought it was a woman. Like I legitimately thought it was a woman. But I still was like, man, this trailer was just bad. Then I saw Norman Osborn. And I was like, they did the thing. Hey, what do you expect nowadays, right? They did the thing. But again, he's a character that I don't necessarily. I've always said this. And I stand by this. Like, unless there's a reason that the character's race plays a role in who the character is, I don't care. So I didn't care about the whole Norman thing. But then I saw a couple people posting this picture and saying this is Harry Osborn. I went, wait, what? So I had to go back and I had to watch a trailer again, unfortunately. And I watched the trailer again. I'm like, no, that's a teacher. Like that's a woman. That's a teacher. Like I legitimately watched a trailer again. I'm like, that is 100% a woman he's saving from the street. Like that's a woman. I was like, maybe it's a lesbian woman. Maybe it's, I guess she has a little more manly features. Maybe it's a lesbian. I mean, again, it's this day and age. It is what it is. And then I listened a little more closely. And sure enough, when he starts talking, it's a dude's voice. I'm like, all right, maybe they are right. Maybe this is Harry Osborn. But like, why? What, like, okay, are they going for the they them thing? Are they doing the no pronouns thing? Are they going to say he's gay? What are they going for here? Like, I don't know. Now, besides this, like I said, when I watched this trailer initially, I just thought this was a woman. I just thought it was a woman teacher that he saved, and the rest of the trailer I thought looked like trash. I thought it was garbage. I thought it was terrible looking. I don't care about this show at all. I don't understand. Like I thought initially this was supposed to be like the origins of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and then they decided to scratch that because it was too difficult to do or something. I don't know. Or they said it was no fun. Whatever. Stupid, ridiculous, whatever. So they're making it its own thing. It is what it is. But the fact is, now that you sit back and you start to see all this crap, it's kind of like, didn't Bob Iger say, like, we're not doing this crap anymore? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like, why not? Like, if you wanted to make him black, then make him black. But why'd you have to make him a lesbian too? Like, I just don't get. Again, you guys can get mad at me. It is what it is. I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why you had to make him look like a woman, so feminine looking. Like, it makes no sense to me. I just, I don't know. Like, But even if you take this out, the trailer looked bad. The art style wasn't for me. I don't see this show doing well. I don't. Maybe it does. Maybe it does well for little kids. Although I don't see how it can, because I think I heard them swear in it. So I don't know what the rating's going to be, but it should be weird. It should be weird. Shouldn't be rated for young kids. It's probably going to be rated for, oh, what the hell was saying there? It's not going to be rated for young kids. It'll probably be rated like PG-13 or what is it? What is the? I don't even know the ratings for the TV anymore. Was it TV-14? That's what it is. TV-14 or something. I don't know. This is just crazy though. This trailer looked atrocious. Let me know your thoughts though. What did you think of the trailer? Let me know in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of the Harry Osborne thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Oh boy. All right. What do you guys coming at me in the comments? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Jalen goes, dear God. All right. Man of Time says, I didn't like the Spider-Man trailer at all. It didn't look interesting, fun, and not even meh. It was plain bad. It's true. Jalen says, this animation is so freaking trash. Very, very true. Jalen says, I don't care about the race swap or Harry or of Harry or Norman, but I care about this animation. Again, I don't care about the race swap either, but I still understand why they made Harry a lesbian. I just don't get it. Critic Chris says people love Michael Clark Duncan as King. He was amazing as Kingpin in that Daredevil movie, specifically the director's cut. You have to watch the director's cut of that. If you watch the theatrical version, it's not as good. Man, it was time. I understand the comic style choice, but even Archer did a better job with will DC have a better animation run than Marvel? They always do. Comic cuts. What's going on, guy? I said the same thing about Harry. Eric Z, I like what you're doing with your channel, keeping things positive and being so optimistic. Thank you. Thank you. I try to, except for this Spider-Man thing. No, it was really weird. I'm sorry. It caught me off guard. All right, guys. Kevin Davis, this show's set in New York City, full of diversity people. Nobody forced y'all to watch this show. Very true. Trayvon. And people wonder why I LOL whenever they beg for Sony to sell off the Spider film rights to Marvel. Yeah, don't do it. You see this? Don't do it. Hope for Life, Eric Z. That is why Slav's channel went. Okay. Hope for Life, Eric Z. That is why I love Slav's channel. There you go. Okay, that's what you're saying. Jalen, Slav, move out the way. I'm about to roast the F out this trailer for Spider-Man. The animation whack. The story looks whack. The weird-ass looking designs are freaking whack. Oh, man. Critic Chris says, I don't understand this whole villain solo film Sony and WB been doing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Trayvon says, DC Studios at that trailer. Jalen says, damn it, Marvel, you were on the right track and you ruined it with this Spider-Man show. All right. The final story I want to talk about before we get out of here. This came out a couple days or about a week or so ago. I think it was expected to be true, but I think it's now official. Absolute Batman is Absolute Batman #1 is the top selling comic book of 2024. There we go. I got it out eventually, guys. I got it out. Absolute Batman #1 is the top selling comic book of 2024. Coming from Bleeding Cool, Absolute Batman #1 leads the top 9 best selling comics in 2024 in comic book stores, followed by Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Absolute Batman #1 first printing was best-selling comic book in comic book stores, followed by Ultimate Spider-Man first printing. Absolute books get 4 places in the top 9, while Marvel gets 3. The other 2 are Marvel's X-Men #1 and Uncanny X-Men #1. Missing is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. Excuse me. Despite selling more than all others, as that was skewed to specific stores that ordered a huge amount of retailer exclusive variants, including one store ordering over 60 exclusive variants to sell on Whatnot. Also, it is worth noting that Ultimate Spider-Man has been through 7 printings and Absolute Batman has had 4, but only the first printings make it onto the chart. So, there you have it. Here it is. Absolute Batman, DC, Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta at $4.99. It is the #1. If you've not read it, read it. It is fantastic. The Absolute series is damn good. Go read it. Damn it. It is fantastic. I love it. It's a different take on the series, on the DC universe. It's fun. I mean, 100%. All right, guys. What do you got over here? And I said, Absolute Batman was insane. Didn't like the design before I read it, but I was shocked and loved how badass he was. Yeah, exactly. I mean, once you finally learn and you see what's going on, it makes sense and you like it. And that's kind of how I was too. I was like, that's a weird design, but hey, it works in the end. It's a good time for sure. Guys, thank you all so much for watching today. Shout out to my members, Goober316, Trayvon, Just a Guy on YouTube, Manos Time, and James Artist. Thank you guys. You too can become a member. I don't have the little thing. But yeah, you can become a member for exclusive videos and such. I gotta get on that though. Holidays, man. Holidays are rough. You have like no time for anything. Manos Time says, love how the Absolute series feels more like What If than a series called What If. Very true. Jalen says, don't read comics like that, but I'm glad Batman is doing good in comics right now. Yeah. You should read comics. And honestly, if you have a tablet, like you don't need to go to the store. Like my closest comic book store is like 40 plus minutes away. So I just have a tab, I have an iPad, and I can just order them on there. So if I get a chance to go down to the comic book store, I'll pick up a comic here and there so I can support my local comic store. But yeah, if you can't, use your tablet. It's worth it. It is definitely worth it. Yeah. All right, guys. 100% we'll be back Thursday, which will be nice because Thursday will be the 2nd, right? Is that January 2nd? January 2nd. So it'll be a new year. We'll be in a new year. We will be officially in the year of Superman, guys. The next Watchtower, we will be in the year of Superman. That's exciting stuff. So Watchtower Thursday, if you don't know, that is our DC talk. Thursday's the Watchtower DC talk. So make sure you stop on by. Whoops, there we go. Watchtower on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, where we just talk DC. I think we're going to have a good bit to talk about this week. Don't miss Creature Commandos. That comes out on Thursday as well. So it's going to be a good time. Manos Time says, thank you, Slav, and DC rises. And Gun we trust, and see you next year in 2025. And remember, hashtag James Gunn is the blueprint. All right, guys, take it easy. I'll see you all